From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your Evening Update.
Kent's Meats and Grocery is much more than a grocery store. We carry a full line of quality meats, local and organic vegetables, and a large variety of fish, Green Mountain Smart Control pellet grills, and a full deli case of sandwiches and side dishes.
Good evening, everyone. We start with Kruger's QuickCast. Just a quick look at your forecast here as we go into tonight and through the day tomorrow. So here's what we expect here for tonight. Maybe waking up tomorrow morning, upper 60s to around 70s, so still pretty mild in the valley with temperatures mainly in the 50s for the mountains. We're talking low to even some mid 50s out along the coast. Getting you out the door tomorrow morning, you can expect at 8 o'clock, maybe you're heading out to work. You can see those temperatures in the low 70s here for the valley. Looks like mainly low 60s for many of the higher elevations, but in the eastern mountains somewhere in the mid 60s and mid 50s here for the north coast. All right, let's take a look at that smoke forecast. Starting off with that smoke eventually pushing itself off to the north and east. Really, overall, the folks that saw the smoke today are most likely going to see smoke again here for tomorrow, as I expect a bit of a repeat in the overall pattern. Temperatures here for your Wednesday, we may tack on a degree or two from what we saw today. Temperatures more like 105 degrees for Redding, 103 in Chico. Temperatures in the 90s, getting closer to 100 degrees for some of those higher elevations. For example, Trinity Center 100, 103 in Weaverville. And of course for the coast, the coolest spot, right? Temperatures there in the mid 60s. So looking at your 7-day outlook region by region, starting off with the valley. The main trend that you'll see here is after tomorrow. Tomorrow will be the peak of the heat wave. And then temperatures will start to slowly drop. We're down into the 90s. Even for Redding by Monday and into Tuesday of next week. For the coast, keeping it mainly in the mid 60s, but you'll notice maybe even a slight drop going into Monday, Tuesday of next week as well. So really overall, the pattern is calling for cooler temperatures going into next week. We take a look at Mount Shasta, Alturas, and Susanville. Hazy and smoky again here for tomorrow, especially for Alturas and Susanville to the east. Maybe not as bad for places like Mount Shasta. All right, that is your quick Kruger's QuickCast. Now, of course, let's go into a deeper dive, but before you get to that, I do want to remind you that you can watch Weather NorCal from your big screen TV. If you have a Roku or Amazon Fire Stick, download the app for free, and you can watch the 24-hour streaming channel. If you have a big screen TV with smart TV on it, such as YouTube, for example, and you can search for Weather NorCal and watch from the YouTube channel there. The cool thing about the YouTube channel is you can watch the 24-hour streaming channel, but you can also just watch the latest forecast, like the one that you're watching right now. All right, speaking of the forecast, here are your weather headlines. I'm expecting this typical summer heat to stick around the rest of this week. We'll continue with hot, dry, and those afternoon winds picking up. There is going to be a slight dip in our temperatures this weekend, but I think it'll be even cooler by the time we get into next week. All right, let's take a look at that fire danger. We're going to take a look at all the different elements, starting off with the winds. Tomorrow, yeah, there they are. The winds are picking up tomorrow afternoon. They die down tonight. They go into tomorrow morning and going into your tomorrow night into Thursday. There you can see those winds are going to be, again, gusty at times for the second half of the day. Now, we take you into your Wednesday afternoon. Look at the humidity levels. I mean, they're down into the single digits for the valley, upper single digits to lower teens for some of the higher elevations, especially to the east. And for Thursday, yeah, there's a little bit of improvement there, but overall, humidity is still rather low. So as a result, when we factor in the winds, the temperature, and the humidity, we've got that high fire danger in the valley. High fire danger for central Siskiyou County and parts of the eastern mountains as well. Pretty much rinse and repeat going into your Thursday with that fire danger as well. All right, take a look at Futurecast, and there is some moisture coming in from the south. We'll see that going into tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night, and I'll show what I'm talking about. First and foremost, this tomorrow morning, we are seeing some of that fog out along the coast. Now, as we go into the afternoon, here's about 5 o'clock. You see how we're beginning to see some clouds move in? There is some subtropical moisture, if you will, from a disturbance that's working its way up. It should be over us by the time we do get into tomorrow evening and tomorrow night. So we could be starting off Thursday morning with some cloud cover. But then that cloud cover pushes to the north and east through the day on Thursday. Futurecast is showing a little bit of shower activity, trying to develop for some of the higher elevations, but for the most part, just some clouds. maybe a little bit more muggy than we're used to, and that's the extent of it. And by the way, look at the coast, still socked in with that fog. All right, let's take a look at Futurecast. And really a couple of things that we look at when we're looking at that is there any monsoon moisture heading our way? And as of right now, it looks like that monsoon moisture is staying to our east, not moving anywhere near us, which means no threat for thunderstorms even in the mountains. All right, but cooler temperatures are on the way. Now, after we peak in this heat wave, come tomorrow or Thursday, once we get toward the end of the week and this weekend, that ridge of high pressure starts to shift to the south. Some cooler air begins to come in from the north, and what's going to happen is we're going to see a reinforcing shot of cooler air come in by around Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, and that cooler air will not only help to drop our temperatures down, but it will keep that ridge of high pressure way down to our south and east. And in fact, look at the temperature outlook over the next 8 to 14 days. We are getting in that basically sandwiched between the below normal temperatures and above normal temperatures. So we're seeing this trend of breaking away from above normal temperatures, getting closer to normal, and that is maybe even below normal. In fact, the normal high for Reading is about 100 degrees at this point. We should be above that or just around that here for the rest of the week and even through the weekend. But look at early next week and really all of next week. We're dropping below normal for those daytime highs. Temperatures in the mid 90s. We'll take it. Certainly going to be a bit cooler out there as we do take a look at the long range. And hard to believe that 95 is cooler, right? You go anywhere else, that's a ridiculous heat, right? But for us, we're used to it. So when we can get down to 95, that's good. All right, there you can see, of course, those wave heights going into tomorrow afternoon. Not much change. We take you into your Thursday. Once again, not much change there either. So we look at the marine forecast. So here's what we got. Tonight and into tomorrow morning, those winds will be from the northwest at about 5 knots. There is a small craft advisory going through tomorrow morning. Should be allowed to expire in the afternoon. We'll have to kind of wait and see on that, but looks like we are seeing those wave heights increase a little bit from what we've seen over the last several days. We saw this earlier, but certainly looking at those temperatures upper 60s to around 70 in the valley, and we've got those mid 50s for many of the higher elevations, low to mid 50s out along the coast. All right, let's take a look at your detailed neighborhood forecast, starting off with Trinity County. Temperatures hovering around 100 degrees through the weekend, back down into the 90s, low to mid 90s by Monday and Tuesday of next week. Your North Coast neighborhood forecast, of course, for the immediate coast, no big changes. You've got mid 60s, maybe a slight dip in those temperatures by early next week, but still right around 100 degrees or higher for the inland areas. 101 for the inland areas around Hoopa, about 101, but warmer out in Willow Creek with a high of 105, and those temperatures in the mid to even upper 60s for the coast. Let's take a look at your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures in the low 90s starting Thursday, really lasting through the weekend, but in the 80s. Yes, in the 80s. By the time we get into early next week, that's also the case for Modoc County. You're staying mainly in the 90s through the weekend, but then mid to upper 80s here by next Monday and Tuesday. And your Eastern Mountains neighborhood forecast, still around 90 on Monday, but you'll notice temperatures dropping even more by Tuesday of next week with temperatures at that point in the mid 80s. In your Valley neighborhood forecast, temperatures most likely 100 degrees or higher pretty much anywhere you go. But you'll notice in Chico, we're down to the upper 90s over the weekend, low to mid 90s by Monday, Tuesday of next week. We take you up north, again 104 for Red Bluff, 105 for Anderson, 105 for Reading, and looks like Lakehead about to 104. Now we look at that 7-day outlook for Reading. There you can see right here, temperature staying 100 degrees or higher through the weekend. But look at that. We're down to 97 degrees by Monday and 95 by next Tuesday.
At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too. Because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.